Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Rugby with Pads. I'm reporting to you on August 1st, a lovely rainy summer's day, and today officially, well, you'll be listening to this on the 4th, but the 1st, for me, officially launches draft season. I have so many drafts coming up and I wanted to start the pod season of drafting properly. I know I've done a couple of mock drafts here and there, but you know, you'll see on the screen at the moment, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got myself some drafts lined up and I need to practice. Now, I've got a few different leagues that I did in the league tour last week. I'm going to go through the next couple of weeks some things that hopefully you'll enjoy. We'll do some scenario-based stuff, so I'll look at running some scenarios inside the confines of my practice. So the practice for the drafts. Excuse me, sorry, lost my voice there. The practice for the drafts that I'm doing, we'll do some perfect draft scenarios and things to look out for, and generally some tips and tricks as well. And I would recommend, if you're going through draft season, go back and listen to the playlist. That is all to do with the fantasy brain dump, my off-season musings, all of that kind of stuff, because that leads up all the way to draft season. I'll be continuing that series going through the main season as well. And after a quick water break, we are on our first draft of official draft season. There's so many. I don't know where I'm drafting this one. So this is a new league to me. I've been invited by a work colleague. Thank you very much for having me. And hopefully they don't know how much of a degenerate I really am. I mean, the fact I have a podcast, you know, goes to speak something towards my degeneracy in this forum. It's set up on ESPN. You can't really do mock drafts unless you're against other people, and you know that doesn't really suit the podcast. So instead, I'm going to be doing a podcast, a draft here, and giving you a bit of a view of what it's going to look like. I don't know where I'm drafting at the moment because it's actually going to get decided on the day. It's not like it's reverse order from last year or anything like that. We've got a bunch of new members, so I'm going to be doing 3 versions of this draft. One from the start, one from the middle, and one from the end. And let's see how it goes. So what I'll probably do is I won't take the number 1 slot because I'm never lucky enough to do that. I will claim for this first one the number 2 slot. Now, the first one, I'm going to do it in a fashion that I hope you'll see normally. I'm going to let the draft dictate what comes to me, and then based on my tiers, based on the positional value that I need at the time and things like that. Based on the breaks, I'm going to then draft accordingly. I'm probably not going to draft quarterbacks early, although I haven't done an 8-man league in a little while. My original league started off as an 8-man league, then went to 10. I'm now in a bunch of 12 and 16-man leagues, so this is a bit different for me. So yeah, I'm going to learn something, hopefully, today. And without further ado, let's see what happens. I'll start calling out some players and some thoughts I'm going to go with, and then you'll be able to see what happens. So Team 1 is obviously going to go Justin Jefferson. No surprise there. Actually, a bit of a surprise. Jamar Chase. I think, you know, it's an interesting position. This is PPR. I think Jamar Chase is probably better for scoring in general. Justin Jefferson may be slightly better on the PPR side of things. With a young quarterback, you know, there's less options there. I think that's a good choice from the computer there on one, but if you give me the 101, 102, and Jamar Chase is there, and this is what I said, I'm going to let the board dictate what happens. Jamar Chase is getting on my team. So I'm going to go with Jamar Chase, running back 1, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, or Bijan. He wants to be called, even though he's got Bijan Mustardson, he wants to be called Bijan now. Incredible. Jameer Gibbs, Amar St. Brown, back-to-back Lions, Ashton Genty early on, CD Lamb. And on the way back, we get Brian Thomas, Puka Nacua, Derek Henry, Malik Neighbors, Christian McCaffrey. And I'm looking at the tiers available to me here. And if I think about the tiers of running backs that are available to me, Gibbs, Bijan, CMC, Saquon, all gone. I'm going to delay my gratification, I think, on running backs because, you know, there is a bunch of guys in the next tier. There is Jacobs is still there, Bucky Irving, A.K.A. is still there, and I've got 3 picks to come back to me. Whilst in the kind of wide receiver 1 slot for my personal preference, Lad McConkey is still there, and I think I've got to go for him. Yes, it's a little bit of a reach, but you can never tell what's going to happen, so I'm going to go Lad McConkey and then get my PPR points up there really high. Devon A. Chan does go, and the last guy on my list in that grouping is Bucky Irving, but I'm not sure whether I'm actually sold on this. I think I've got to go running back early. This is two running backs, two wide receivers, quarterback, tight end, flex, kicker, defense. Obviously, kicker and defense is going to be right at the end here. Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs, neither of them are coming back to me. If I then look at my next list, the guys who are probably going back to me, Breece Hall, James Cook is a noticeable, fall off there. So I think I'm going to have. This would be a prime opportunity to go zero RB, but I don't think I can let the board do that. And you might find this in smaller leagues. When you're drafting smaller leagues, you generally have better players available. For the lols on this one, I'm going to go with Bucky Irving, even though I probably think Josh Jacobs has a better opportunity. Josh Jacobs had so many touchdowns last year. I'm just going to have a quick look at him here. Touchdowns, 15 rushing touchdowns last year, and one in the air as well. I can't not go Josh Jacobs. I think they're going to be a better offense. I'm trying to win my mocks. You should be, that's a good piece of advice. You should always try and win your mocks no matter what. After that, Drake London, Bucky Irving, told you they weren't coming back to me. Trey McBride, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, the quarterbacks start going here. Tyreek goes early. I still think he's still to elevate. Name value alone just too high for me. Kyron Williams, that would be would have been a great running back to come back to me if I was going semi-zero RB here. But I've gone a very even, and because I'm on the turn, I've got a few options available to me. And I've look who could come around here. Got T Higgins I quite like, but I've got Jamar Chase. So I'm ignoring him. Terry McLaurin now is interesting to me, although he is in some contract dispute here. Marvin Harrison Jr. sits there as a really good option. I like that. I like the spike value. I probably want to come back and get George Kittle if he's available to me. And you know what? I'm not going to mess about, actually. So, sometimes you've got to let ADP dictate, but sometimes you don't. No one really has any tight ends here. I think George Kittle in the 4th or 5th is fine. Because I'm on the turn, I've got to pick three later. I'm going to go George Kittle. Fantastic player, and I think he's going to do well. Team 1 has gone heavy on wide receivers. They've got Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. They've took A-Chan in the 3rd. I think I need to go and complete my room. And if I, again, look at the options available to you, Alvin Kamara is kind of at the tail end of my running back looks. I don't think he'll come back to me, so I probably need to think about my league winner options here. Who's left in that group as well? RJ Harvey's still left in that group. I do like that. He's a bit further down. He probably will come back to me. Do I think I need anything else? No. I've got Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, not likely to come back to me as well. And I think in leagues like this where you've got players who are maybe on the beginner side of things, you need to kind of take players with name value as well, because they will get taken from you. They will get taken early. And the one that stands out to me here is Joe Burrow. Now, it's early, but I think I accelerate his value by having Jamar Chase from the 2nd. If I didn't have him there, I would be definitely going running back. But instead, I'm going to go Joe Burrow and complete the stack. I've got the stack of dreams: Joey B, Jamar Chase, Lab McConkey, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, and I'm probably going to be looking at running back. Yes, Alvin Kamara did go, but can I get Alvin Kamara light? Potentially. At the top of my list here, I've got James Conner still available. That would be interesting. I think RJ Harvey will be a bit further down. I think he's had some value depressed here. I can't even see him unless he's already gone and you guys are screaming at the screen saying he's there. No, he is down there at number 60 there. Again, he could probably come back to me on the turn, but is there any other guys available in my tiers above that? I think now I've got George Kittle. I'm pretty much ignoring tight ends on the way back. I probably just need to make sure I've got those flex positions sorted as well. You can't use tight end and flex on this one again, so there's no point having 2 of them. DK is sitting there at the top here, and he is in my league winners group. I think he could be very valuable on volume alone, and you know what? He's a safe play. I think I've got some fantastic wide receivers here. It'd be really very interesting looking at the whole group here, but I'm going to go DK Metcalf as my 3rd wide receiver. I'm going for some guys who I think will have some good value. And on the way back, because I know he won't return, I've got a choice between RJ Harvey and James Conner. Now, Josh Jacobs is he's a volume guy. He's going to get a lot of touches on the ground because he's the only option. RJ Harvey is in a difficult backfield But I think I need to take a risk at this point, and I haven't really taken many risky picks, I don't think, outside of Joey B a little bit earlier than I maybe should have. So I think I'm going to go RJ Harvey over James Conner to complete the running back room over there. And now I'm on to my bench, and it's not very often I complete my whole lineup before the bench goes. Right after RJ Harvey, Joe Mixon would have been an option as well. I like him. David Montgomery, James Conner goes at the end. He wouldn't have got back to me, so I'm glad I made the choice there. Williams, Laporta of note. Travis Hunter seems to be going in the 8th. I don't think he'll go that high in a real draft. And I'm left with looking at best players available and looking at my team shape and thinking about, who I need, what I need. And there's someone here that I already said I wouldn't take a second one, but I think I've got to. And in 8-person league, it's interesting because you do probably get more of an option because everyone's got super players. They do. You look at Team 4 here. They've got Bijan Robinson, CMC, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Amarian Hampton, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton. He's gone for some great players at the running backs, but he's going to need players elsewhere to pick up as well. I mean, do you want to be riding with TJ Hawkinson? No, I'd much rather riding with Travis Kelce. And I think he is a value play for me at this place. He is at the top of my wide receiver one upside. He is, on his day, he's equivalent with George Kittle. Do I think George Kittle's probably got more upside? Yes, I do. But Travis Kelce, he could be the guy still. He really could be. So I'm going to pick him up because I think, why not? And prevents anyone else from getting the Mahomes stack. Although after that, Mahomes and Pacheco go, so they've got a kind of semi-stack there, protecting all of the points coming out of Kansas City. Although, to be fair, do we think that Pacheco is going to be the number one guy there? I do not know. I'm then looking down my list and thinking, right, who do I think it has got really fantastic upside and maybe does something for my team? I probably need at least one more running back who with a high volume, and I'm probably looking at this point, I'm going kind of a little bit off script when it comes to my tiers, but I'm looking at the likes of it really drops off after this, so I think I've really got to go running back at this one. I'm looking at Aaron Jones. Yes, he's a little bit older. Yes, got a little bit on the tyres, but look at him. He's constant performer. 15, 37 in a year. He only played 11 games, 9, 10, 5, 2 finishes. He's absolutely amazing. And yes, he's a little bit older, but I still think he's going to get some volume, especially when they've got a rookie running back and they need to get the play action going. So that's really nice. So the team so far, Jamar Chase, Laban Conkey, Josh Jacobs, Kittle, Burrow, Metcalf, RJ Harvey, Travis Kelce, Aaron Jones, and coming back to me, I've still got so many lovely options here. I could have waited for Mark Andrews, but I'm not going to. I think Mark Andrews is going to get some really good play early in the season with Isaiah likely out, but I'm looking for upside. And I'm thinking about Debo. The reason I'm thinking about Debo is that with McLaurin being questionable at best at the moment in terms of his I think he'll get paid, but in the circumstances of what I know now, and by the time you listen to this might have got solved already, so I don't really know, but Deebo Samuel is the number one wide receiver option there currently, so I want a piece of that offense. And when a wide receiver goes, there is a kind of old adage that vacated targets go to the running back. Well, if they can't go to the running back because Brian Robinson really isn't the pass catching guy, they're going to go to Debo because he's basically a running back. I'm going to pick him up for the upside and a little bit for the memes there. Elsewhere in my list here, is there anyone that stands out? Yes, Stephon Diggs for me is a league winner, so I'm going to pick him up. And that's probably, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers now. Really happy with that haul. I probably just need a little bit more balance. Maybe look at getting some protection for one of my running backs here. If I look at protection, Josh Jacobs, no one behind him. RJ Harvey, no one really behind him. So I'm kind of free to get whoever I want and who I think might emerge later on. And I'm looking at Cam Scatterbo. Although I think Tyron Tracy is probably going to be the number one slot for the time being based on his protection, Cam Scatterbo, if you've watched him through training camp, is a walking highlight reel. He's lovely, and we like him a lot. And then I'm going to go with, I've got 4 rounds left, sorry. I really like the option for Ricky Pearsall to emerge as a number one target. Over there, I also like Egbuka here as well. I'm just thinking, have I got any clashes here? Yes, I do actually. Pearsall would clash with Kittle a little bit. Although if Kittle goes down, Pearsall comes in. I'm looking for upside. I'm not looking for downside. We're expecting there to be a bit of a changing of the guard at wide receiver in Bucksland. So I'm going to go Igbuka. He is balling out in training camp again, and I really like that option there. Now, at this point, with the last 3 rounds going, you probably have in your real draft some people already drafting kickers and defenses. If I look at this, none of the computer has drafted kickers and defenses. So if you ever come up with this option, again, this is a tactic I always use. By the time it comes back to you, you're going to have the same players available to you. So you might as well pick up a kicker and the best kicker and best defense that's going to be available to you. I'm just going to pick the top of the list, kickers. Probably want to pick someone who's aligned to your team, but I'm just, it doesn't matter in this mock. It's not something I'm going to win upon. And the last shot I'm going to take is Ricky Pearsall came back to me, but I always like a little bit of Darnell Mooney. Yes, I know he's injured in training camp, but I like Darnell Mooney. I think he could be great. This is a wide receiver heavy draft. So I've gone with Jamar Chase, Lab McConkey, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Igbuka and Mooney. I really like that. Joe Burrow at top with that beautiful, beautiful stack. Josh Jacobs, RJ Harvey, George Kittle and Kelsey. This is a super team, and this is what you get. In 8-person leagues, you get super teams. I'm gonna, as I said, what I'll do is I'll put these 3 teams together, and you guys can let me know which team you like the best out of the 3 that I've done. I'm gonna go with another one now. Then trying to pick one that I haven't done already. I did try to copy these. It did work. So, I'm going to take the opposite view, and I'm going to go right from the end, because my luck has determined of recent years that I do go right at the end. So I'm going to pick Team 8. I'm going to turn off the notifications for you. I'm going to go a little bit quicker, but just give you my thoughts on the players that I want to pick up. Obviously, I won't just stay quiet for the whole thing. Saquon Barkley goes 101 this time. The players that are off the board are off the board. And you know what? I think I might... No. Actually, I'm going to stick with something that I've been doing. I think it's tried and tested, and I really like it a lot. I am going to go hero running back, hero RB, Christian McCaffrey. Really like him at the end of this draft. If you can get him anywhere between the 107 to 12-person 107 to 202 range, pick him up. It's stupid not to, and especially in an 8-person league, you will be able to pick up players elsewhere. He has backups that won't get picked up. You can pick them up. It's a no-brainer, and I would go for that. I'm also going to take the top guy on my list in terms of wide receivers, and that is going to be, I'm just double checking, I have actually got him there. I definitely have. CD Lamb. I just see CD Lamb, even though we've got George Pickens going there, he is going to be so heavily targeted. Again, this kind of is a bit different to the last one, because I went running back first. Last one I did wide receiver, then running back. But I've still got this stack, and the opportunity when you're at the end and you're at a turn, especially at the first turn, is you can dictate the pace a little bit. Early on, players are going to take the players that they want to take. But I'm actually going to mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to try and go, because I've got the flexibility at running back and wide receiver here. I've got some options. I can go either way. I've already proven in the last one I can get some good value on wide receivers late on. I'm going to go 2 onesie picks and just see how this works, see if it breaks my draft. I'm going to go Trey McBride, and I'm going to go Lamar Jackson, both very high at the top of my list. Yes, I could have gone later on both of those, but let's see what happens if you put yourself into a situation like this. Mock drafting is all about putting yourself in situations and seeing how you survive, seeing how you adapt. I forced this one a little bit, the fact that I've just got a spread of players, and now I've got to make the decisions. And because I've based myself on tiers, and because I've got some really defined rules about how I work them, someone is just coming straight off the page here. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is a fantastic player. It still gives me the option to stack a bit later with other players as well. So Marvin Harrison Jr., get on my team. And I'm looking at the running backs here. There's no one here that's in that tier above. I think Mike Evans closes it off, and I've gone really heavy. So I've gone myself hero RB. This is a true hero RB, mixed slate, and then going for late running back support as well. I've really taken the position of wide receiver, very seriously. CD Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, really happy with that. Zay Flowers drops to me. I'm thinking about picking him up. That might be interesting because he's elevated because of the stack. Although I would have preferred to maybe have taken Mark Andrews because I think there's more opportunity there. In a PPR league with 8 players where you've got such high quality players, you want to take the best players who are going to fit your team. And once again, I think the best player that fits my team here is RJ Harvey. And yes, you might think, oh, Sam, you just took him before. Yes, I did. But if a player fits, a player fits. I am going to go a little bit later on the running backs just to get to protection because I'm going to go with running back heroes. Although we don't know about RJ Harvey, he could be an absolute bust. So I'm going to have to protect myself a little bit. But I'm really liking the look of Jameson Williams. I think he has some fantastic upside. I think he could be a league winner there as well. As could Jalen Waddle. Chris Olave is interesting to me as a 3rd or 4th in this lineup. I'm thinking of Chris Olave. Let's see how that works out. And you'll see now, I probably make some decisions that have hampered me a little bit. If I look at the running backs available to me now, the best available, Aaron Jones. Once again, I don't want to make it too boring. He's already gone. Well, okay. So I'm going to go late and I'm going to go pick out some players later on. And I'm going to try and get some value out of some other positions here. Mark Andrews is staring at me and I really like that option. So I'm probably going to use Mark Andrews. You know what? I'm not sure if I can use him at the flex or not. I need to check the rules, so I'll have to see that. Probably going to look at Mark Andrews, and again, I'm thinking about my team in general, who I like, who I have on high value here. Again, I really like Deebo Samuel. Maybe not for this lineup because I've already got 4 really good wide receivers. And this is a decision you have to make. You have to make a decision around the balance of your squad as well. You pick too many of one type of good player, you're not going to be able to play them all, and you will have a bit of a problem in team selection. You'll doubt yourself. You know, one of the best teams that I've watched play over the last few years is Tim in our Dynasty League. He has a very shallow team, though. He's got some crazy players, very shallow team. The team picks itself, and he mops up in the regular season while we're all making trades and making transactions that more often than not harm our team. He's there plodding away with the same lineup week in, week out, and doing absolutely fantastically doing so. But that's enough for me vamping. I'm going to pick Mark Andrews up, just see what it looks like. And by the time you get to this point, it shouldn't matter too much. I'm going to look at not Isaiah Pacheco, but I'm going to take a punt on yet another fragile running back, and this is an interesting. This is fragile running backs. CMC, RJ Harvey, who is old apparently, 24 in going into his first season. Breece Hall's 24 going into his 4th. JohnDo Swift, can he stay on the field? Don't know, but at this point, I'm going to line up some really good value running backs. And you can see there are some great options here, especially in PPR. Jalen Warren, come get in my side. Travis Etienne, you could be interesting. Cam Scatterbo, once again. But I probably want to look at... I probably won't look at those. I'm going to pick up Debo, and I'm going to pick up one of the... probably going to pick up Gurendo in the final pick and see how that goes. See how it comes back to me. I'm not liking this team too much, but it's not too bad either. I think the fact that I took a quarterback and tight end early hampered me a little bit. But you know what? Sometimes you've got to try these things out, and it's not a bad team. I'll let you guys decide in the comments which one you think is best. Ricky Pearsall, really interesting to me. I don't need you do not need a second quarterback if you're in a 1 quarterback league. Anyone who rosters multiple quarterbacks doesn't understand the format. Just going to put it out there. And you can be better. You can do better. Instead, I'm going to go for whatever upside is available. There is an IR spot in this team. So I'm actually going to pick up Brandon Ayuk. It's late 13th round. I'm going to pick him up because I can always jump him in the IR spot and save him for later. So if he comes back in the end of the season, he is Brock Purdy's favorite target. So he gets the nod because of that as well. J.K. Dobbins is interesting to me, but I'm just picking running backs who are so fragile. At this point, I'm in my final 2 picks here. I'm going to do what I told you to do. Go pick a good go pick a good defense, go pick a good kicker, you know, whatever happens. You're going to have the same level of options. I've already decided I'm going to go for Isaac Gurendo. So I've picked up the Eagles, and the kicker, I'm just going to pick who's over the top of the list. If you're picking a kicker, maybe pick someone who is aligned to your team. So you can score points at the same time. This instance, I'll go with Tyler Loop. But then I'm going to go and search because I can't find him anywhere. Gurendo. He's not. He's definitely not a kicker. He is a running back, and that's giving him protection. So the final lineup is Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, RJ Harvey, backed up by a cavalcade of small running backs. DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, Isaac Guerrero as the ultimate backup. At wide receiver, I've got CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think is going to break out this year. Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave. No, that's not bad. And Mike Evans, Mike Evans in the flex. At tight end, I've got Trey McBride and Mark Andrews. This is a city squad, and this is a fun one to start on because you get silly squads when you play 8 teams. Yeah, I don't know how that fares against the other one, but you know what? Let's give it one more time, and let's draft in the middle, and let's just try and see what comes to us. I'm going to draft in the 5 because I don't think I'm going to be lucky enough to get the 4. I'm actually drafting at the 5 in another league. So I think it makes sense to just do that, although that is a 16-man league. So basically I get every other pick. So this might be good testing. Anyway, let's see what happens with this. Third one up, and I'm not going to do another thing because I think theming on an 8-man or having a strategy on an 8-man roster is really, really hard. 0 wide receiver is interesting to me. You know what? With what's coming up here, I'm going to go 0 wide receiver, and this is a PPR league, so I'm definitely thinking about running backs first. So let's do 3. Let's try and do 3 back-to-back running back picks. Got Jahmyr Gibbs in the 105. Then coming back to me, Christian McCaffrey. You can get him as late as the 12th pick here, guys. 12th, 13th, 14th pick. You know, it makes sense. I'm just going to get him. 2 pass catching, amazing. If I can win that position, I am laughing. And sometimes that's what you want to do in these small leagues. You want to see if you can win the position. And coming back to me, I've got a bit of more of a stalwart, Josh Jacobs. Running back's done. I can ignore running back now, and that gives me so much peace of mind. So my next probably 5 picks is all going to be wide receivers. T. Higgins gives such incredible value. Garrett Wilson, I think, could be really interesting as a true number 1 in his team as well. I think I've got to go Garrett Wilson for the upside of being a number 1, even though it is with Justin Fields. He's slightly higher on my list than T. Higgins. T. Higgins doesn't come back to me, unfortunately, but someone who does, Marvin Harrison Jr., get on my team again. You end up picking some of the same guys every time because you end up having tendencies. I try to get out of it a little bit, but these are guys who have been proven to be performers. I'm going to pick Davante Adams as my number 3 wide receiver. I think he's going to be a fantastic so deep early on running backs. I need to continue to build wide receiver depth. I really like the idea of Courtland Sutton. He's going to move up in my rankings quite some because he's given that a very sensible extension. Obviously, the Washington Commanders are going to be under pressure to get an extension done with Terry McLaurin because of that. But coming back to me now, I'm there staring down the barrel of a gun, and Travis Kelce falls to me in the 8th. So we started out with Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Davante Adams, Courtland Sutton on any 10-man team. That would look like a silly team. Travis Kelce falls to me as well. I'm thinking about. Am I still thinking about wide receiver? I still think I'm thinking about wide receiver. I'm going to pick up Chris Godwin, because I think he could be fantastic in a PPR format. I do have an IR spot. I can pick up another player. I might be able to pick up Egbuka right towards the end, even after I'll have to see if Egbuka would be available in this format. But there's my quarterback 1 here to link him up with a bit of Courtland Sutton, and I think he's got great upside. Bo Nix is the last of my tier in that league winner group as well. Quarterback goes really deep this year, guys, so don't worry yourself too much. I'm then thinking about, I can double down on that Bo Nix position as well. I'm going to go Evan Ingram. So I've got the super stack there if I ever need it. So if Travis Kelce isn't able to play, I think that was a really shrewd move. And I'm not looking at wide receiver. I'm not looking at running back again. I don't really need to look at wide receiver, but I'm thinking about, the kind of future as well. Christian McCaffrey could get injured. Josh Jacobs could get injured. Jahmyr Gibbs could get injured. A lot of things can happen, guys. And I think the last viable option of someone who has the opportunity to get running back 1 volume is Javonte Williams. Yes, not proven yet. Yes, it's a bit quiet, but we'll have to see. Some people think it's going to be Miles Sanders. He's just been taken ill or injured or something like that. We'll have to see what happens with that one. But Javonte Williams, and then I'm picking for value. I've only got 1 IR slot, so I'm not going to take Ayuk or anyone like that. It doesn't look like Egbuka would make it out of there, so maybe I'm thinking Egbuka, but I just want someone who's going to have a potential to have a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 1A type season. Matthew Golden clashes a little bit with Josh Jacobs, unfortunately. So I'm going to look at Darnell Mooney. He's someone I pick out in so many drafts. And you know what? In this situation, when I'm kind of floating in the middle, I don't think people like Egbuka are going to actually get back to me. Although, you know what? Thinking about a lineup here, someone's got to take a tight end potentially. I might do just about, but you know what? I'm gonna, for the sake of it, and just because I want to protect it, I'm going to take Egbuka. The advantage of being on the ends helps you to do that kicker and defense earlier. If you're in the middle, you're less likely. Does it matter at the grand scheme of things? No, I'm going to pick Jake Bates just because he's there at the top, and I'll pick whoever's at the top when it comes around to me. For defense as well, it looks like it's going to be Pittsburgh Steelers. So again, 8-man league, you're going to get a good roster. And the roster is good. So you've got Bo Nix, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Travis Kelce, Josh Jacobs, and a bunch of other guys as well. That's a really nice lineup. And I guess what I'll call this one is my 0 wide receiver option for an 8-man league. Elsewhere, what we had our fragile running back, where we went Christian McCaffrey earlier and loaded up on all the positions and took a balanced approach. We'll call this a balanced team, but in the end I had to go after some late players. So Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, RJ Harvey, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. I've just realised there was a clash there. Didn't even realise that, but I did get Mark Andrews as well. So you know what? Sometimes you've got to do these to realise if there's a clash, because I don't have the super stack either with Kyler Murray, but Mike Evans as well there. And finally, I've got my team starting from the start. You know what? This is the dream stack. Joseph Burrow. Is he Joseph? I don't know. Joey B, Josh Jacobs, RJ Harvey, Jamar Chase, Lab McConkey. This is a PPR dream. George Kittle, DK Metcalf, Travis Kelce's in the back, Aaron Jones. This is my favourite team, I think. But of course, I was drafting from the 2. It's going to be better. So which one did you guys like the best? The Joey Burrow dream team, the fragile running backs, and balanced team drafting from the 8, or the team drafting from the middle, where I did Hero RB and stacked on Hero RB. I did 0 wide receiver even, so 3 running backs out of the gate. What did you guys like the best? Guys, this is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. This is 3 mocks for the price of 1 for your auditory and visual stimuli. Really appreciate you listening. If you want to support the pod, you can do, of course, through all the socials. rugbywithpads.com. You can become a member for as little as £1. Get yourself some discounted merch there if you're a member. We're going to put some stuff out over the season, and the draft pack will be released in some next coming days. I need to just get some time at the computer and do it when I'm not talking to you guys about mocks. But that's your lot, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you very soon on the virtual gridiron.